This video is potentially one of the most exciting videos that I get to film on my channel every single year because, crazy enough, I know, we are just about halfway through 2026, which is absolutely insane, and I'm not going to waste my breath talking about that because it's just insane and I will never understand it. And at this point in the year, I feel like at that halfway point, end of June, early July, I like to take a second and reflect on the reading year that I have had. And so today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my top 10 books of 2026 so far. This year I've actually had an exceptional reading year so far. I have read the most amount of books that I have ever read in a 6-month span in 2026, which is really exciting. I feel like each year I keep reading just a little bit more, and that feels really good for me as a reader. I love reading, and so seeing that makes me feel really good. In this video, I'm not going to be going in any particular order. You guys know that I love my ranking videos and talking about the books that I've been reading from worst to best, but I think I'm going to save my big worst to best ranking video for the end of the year. And my final point is I will not be including any rereads in this video, so everything in here is new to me in the year 2026. I just feel like that keeps things a little bit more exciting because obviously I love my rereads. And I think that's it for this introduction. So in no particular order, let's talk about my favorite books of 2026 so far. Up first, we have Us Against You by Friedrich Bachmann. This is book 2 in the Beartown series. I started the Beartown series last year. I read the first book and I rated it a 4.5, and I didn't really know what to expect for the rest of the series. And I was so happy to discover that the second book in the series was a 5-star for me. I loved this book so much. And in this story, I won't, of course, dive into this book too deeply because this is the second book in a trilogy. But in this series, we are in the town of Beartown and following the junior high school hockey team. And with that, all of the pressure that the local community really puts on these boys that are playing hockey. Since it's a small town, hockey is really the one thing that brings everybody together. And at the start of our story, a tragedy happens. Something really bad happens to someone in this town. And we watch as one choice really divides the town. People have to choose who they believe and what they believe in. I felt like the first book was so great, but my biggest challenge with it was there were so many characters to keep track of, and I feel like I didn't have quite enough time to connect with each one of the characters because it's literally like every paragraph you're jumping from one character to the next to the next. And I think I just needed a little bit more time to really sink my teeth into this series and get to know all of our characters. And now that I really have each person in my mind fully established, it made me just absolutely love this book so much. So if you guys really enjoyed the first book, I would say continue because the series does get so much better. So depressing, so do not let me lead you astray and be like, oh, this is so fun and so happy. No. And I cannot wait to read the third book in this series, hopefully this year. Would love to finish that series this year. I am so shocked to see this book on this list, but the next book that I have to talk to you guys about is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. And this is book 2 in the Emily Wilde series. I did actually finish this entire series this year. The reason I'm surprised, if you guys haven't seen my channel before, is because I read the first book in this series years ago and I don't want to say I didn't like it, but I was bored to tears. I read it physically and I just am very much like an action-packed fantasy type of person. And so when I read the first book, I was like, oh, this is slow, cozy fantasy. And I wasn't having it, but years later, I was still thinking about it. And so in 2026, I decided, okay, I'm going to go back to this series, but this time I'm going to try the audiobooks. And can I just say that the audiobooks for this series are incredible. Some of the best audiobooks that I have ever listened to in my entire life. I love the woman who they cast as Emily Wilde in these audiobooks. And by listening to the story, I wasn't really thinking about how this was slow or I have to get through it. I was just absorbing the magic and appreciating like the vibes. And so I loved having this book and like doing cozy hobbies like painting and crocheting and like that kind of thing. And it was just so perfect. But at a glance, this series, this is again a second book in a series. I'm seeing a theme in this video so far. We're following our main character, Emily Wilde, who is essentially like a professor of fairies. She's an academic and she studies the fae. And in the first book, she is writing an encyclopedia of fairies where basically she's trying to get all of this knowledge about fairies into one place for the greater like public, I guess, for the academic community. And then this book kind of just continues on that journey where she has like a different academic adventure. But she goes on these journeys with like a subtle love interest, and there's like these really quirky fae, and Emily is just so awkward. And I loved this story, but particularly the audiobook, and I'm so happy that I loved it. This series is just chef's kiss to me. Book number 3 is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I feel kind of bad because I have been talking about this book nonstop in like 4 of my recent videos. I feel like I can't stop talking about this. I can't shut up about it. I read this book in a reading vlog where basically the vlog was this video ends when I find a 5-star read. And obviously this is where that video ended. And since then, I literally just haven't been able to keep my mouth shut about it. I loved this book so much. Definitely, like, I don't want to rank books in this video, but like it's up there. Okay. I had such an exceptional time with this book, and it's been so popular for so long, and it just took me way too long to actually pick it up. But in this story, we're following our female main character, Addie LaRue, in 1700s France, and she's about to get married to someone that she does not want to marry. Her parents are kind of like marrying her off and making her marry this guy. And so she finds herself in the situation where she is praying to the gods at night, which you're like never supposed to do because the gods who answer at night are like the bad gods or whatever. But she's like trying, praying, begging, like trying to get out of this marriage. And through that, she ends up getting cursed where she can live forever, but nobody can remember her. And it's like, you wished for your freedom, and this is the ultimate freedom. You can go where you please and have no consequences because nobody remembers you. We watch her as she navigates this curse for 300 years. And there's 2 timelines. Our second timeline is in New York City 300 years later when a boy named Henry in a bookshop remembers her. And I love V.E. Schwab. Oh my God, if I could read one woman's writing for the rest of my life, it would be hers. Like, I love the way that she writes books and creates characters. My favorite thing, there were so many things that I loved about this book, but my absolute favorite thing about it was the characters. Addie and Henry were like, they're still my best friends. Like, if you ask me, oh, who are your besties right now? Like, Addie and Henry are my best friends. I love them so much. And just the way that she's able to create a captivating world where there's like interesting things happening and a fun plot, but like at the core, like you're so obsessed with the characters. That's my favorite thing. I love a character story with good plot. Oh my God, say less. I loved this book. I will shut up about it now because I literally can't stop talking about it. So good. Number 4 is Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole, another fantasy. You guys will notice we have a lot of different genres on this list. By the end, you'll see. And so it's just so fun to me that Spark of the Everflame has made it onto this list. I don't know if I expected that. Like, I had to go through my Goodreads and do like a really thorough like analysis of which books are my favorite. It was just so fun to see this book wind up on this list because this was a story I sort of picked up on a whim. It's on Kindle Unlimited for anyone wondering, where we are following our female main character Diem, and in this fantasy world there are 2 types of like beings, I guess. You have humans, and then you also have descended. And the descended are magical. They are half human and half god. And so the world itself is very divided. The humans and the descended don't really interact with each other. But our female main character, Diem, her mother goes missing. They're both mortals. And this like mystery, I guess, of her mom going missing catapults her into interacting a lot more with the descended and like going to the palace and the part of this world where all of the descended live. And I really had such a fun time with this book, way more than I was expecting to. At this point, I've read the first book and the second one. I still need to read the next 2 or the next book. I don't think the 4th one is out yet, but I need to read the next book in the series. It's just really long, so I haven't been able to like get myself to do that because I am doing my Crescent City read right now, so I just haven't been able to prioritize the next book in this series. But it's really fun and really magical, and I had a really good time with this series. A very quick page turner, super fun. So if you guys are like thinking about this book, I would say go for it. I had such a good time with this one. And I did like the first book more than the second, which I think is a pretty unpopular opinion. Most people that I know like the second book more. If you're one of those people, the series could just keep getting better and better. Hopefully for me, the third book will be the best. But yeah, this was really, really fun and I'm having a great time with this series so far. In addition to making book videos online, I love connecting with my audience offline. And so if you guys are new here, I do actually run a mail club for readers specifically, which basically means I send a physical envelope and letter to you guys, to your home, to your mailbox with a bunch of cozy bookish paper goods inside, talking about things that I think readers will love. Real quickly, this was the Cozy Reader Club that all of my subscribers received in the previous month. First up, we had this beautiful little blueberry bookmark that I'm obsessed with. And then we had just like a matching little blue wood panel on the back. And I've been reading Crescent City for so long, and this has been my current bookmark. I'm obsessed with it. Everyone also receives every single month the Cozy Reader newspaper, where I do a bunch of research on books coming out in the upcoming month, as well as other things that are going on in the literary community, and basically say, hey, these are the books that I think you guys should be reading in the next month. I think these are going to be the next big things when they come out. And of course, bookish games, trivia, articles that I write. No AI. Also, I am a firm believer in no AI in my mail club, so this is all written by me. Everyone also received a crossword puzzle with an answer key on the back. This activity changes a lot. Like I'll do different activities every single month, so it happened to be a crossword puzzle last month. I also send everybody a signed personal letter, basically writing about things on my mind as a reader, and yeah, I sign everybody's to kind of give it that personal touch. And then everyone got a bonus activity last month where I sent out a summer TBR jar activity. So you like circle randomly 5 letters in the jar, and then on the back it corresponded to a letter with like your TBR prompts for the summer. And it's literally so much fun. I had so much fun making this. And so if you guys are interested in becoming a cozy reader and signing up for my mail club, I'm gonna have that linked in the description box down below. I would absolutely love to have you. We have such a good time in the Cozy Reader Club. It's my favorite thing that I do. And I always just want to push this idea of reading more and scrolling less. And that's what I really try to achieve through my mail club. Such a fun little physical, more personal way to connect. But that is all about my mail club. So now let's get back to the top 10 books of 2026 so far, AKA maybe the best video of the year so far. So yeah, let's get back to it. Book number 5 is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I am shocked, guys. Not shocked feels dramatic, but I am so surprised that this book is making it onto this list, because the only other Carly Fortune book that I have read previously is the first book in this series, Every Summer After. You don't also have to read Every Summer After before reading this book. I think there's things that definitely like hit harder for sure. Like there's a lot of characters that you'll appreciate seeing, but it's not like 100% required. I like loved Every Summer After. As I was reading it, I was like, oh my goodness, Carly Fortune's gonna be a new favorite romance author for me. I'm so excited. But then the ending, the ending was so bad. Like characters did things that are just unforgivable to me. Like I literally can never look past them ever. Like I don't care what your redemption story is or what your reasoning is. Like I do not forgive easily. Okay. I was like, oh, surely this book is going to be fun and enjoyable, but there's going to be a really bad third act conflict and I'm just going to like wish I didn't read it. No, this book was good all the way through. Every single page, and I am so glad that I picked it up this year. In the story, we have our main character, Alice, and she is basically looking for a fun summer vacation. And so she and her nan go to this lake house for the summer, and she like went there when she was young as a kid. So it's really fun because her and her nan get to like go and have this summer together. Her nan is also recovering from a surgery, and so Alice is like her caretaker, but also trying to have a good summer. She's also on the heels of a breakup, and she's just trying to have a fun, good time, okay? A fun, silly, good, hot girl summer, if you will. Of course, we have Charlie, our mailman character who lives across the lake, and he is basically tasked to make sure that Alice and Nan are having a good time. And Charlie is friends with the people who like own the lake house. So they're like, hey, Charlie, can you just look after our guests and make sure they're doing good? Obviously, Alice and Charlie fall in love, and it's so much fun. I loved this book. I loved the characters. I thought that the third act conflict was very reasonable and not like an insane, horrible thing that I could not forgive like the first book. So I loved this book. If you guys are looking for a summer romance, you guys should check this book out. I also did just film a big summer book recommendations video. I'll link that in the description box down below. This book is in that video. So good. Another one that I can't seem to shut up about lately. Such a great book. If I have anyone to thank for this next book, that's Upside Down. It's you guys. You all for years, maybe 1 or 2 years, have been on me to read Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir because y'all know that I'm a big Martian lover. I love The Martian by Andy Weir. It's one of my favorite sci-fi books of all time. And so you guys were like, Olivia, if you like that book and you like comedic sci-fi, girl, pick this up because you're going to love it. And you guys were right. You guys plus the film that came out were kind of the two driving forces in me picking up this book because honestly, it wasn't like super high on my radar previously. I don't know why my camera got so dark, but oh well. In this story, we're following Ryland Grace, who wakes up. He has no idea who he is, where he is, what he's doing, but he's quick to discover that he is on a spaceship in outer space, completely by himself. He has no idea what he's doing there. As his memories start to come back to him, he remembers being like a school teacher and teaching kids. He's like, I am not in this world literally at all. Why am I in outer space? But we know as the reader from the back of the book and just like early on that he basically needs to save the world. He needs to save Earth. And so it's critical that his memories come back to him and that he is able to complete the journey that he was sent on. And it is so much fun. There are plot points that come up at about, whoa, getting a call. Hold that thought. Shoot, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, I remember. There are 2 timelines throughout this book, and there are things that sort of come up at about maybe 100, 150 pages that I was so not expecting. If you've seen the trailer or if you've seen the movie, then you already know, but there's like characters that enter the story and things that happen that I was just so not expecting. This is just unlike any other sci-fi book that I've ever read. It's hilarious. Andy Weir is like king of sci-fi humor. This book was so good, and I'm not even slightly surprised that it made it onto this list. I loved it, and I have you guys to thank. Thank you so much for bullying me into reading this one. You were so right. Number 8 is The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I have been looking for opportunities to talk about this book more often because I feel like since I read it, I haven't had a lot of opportunities to talk about it on my channel, but I loved, cannot stress enough, all caps, underlined, italics, loved The Favorites by Lane Fargo. This is technically categorized as a romance, but every time I do talk about it, I want to be like, no, that's wrong. This is a drama. Like, I am saying that this is not a romance. In this story, we have 2 main characters, Katerina Shaw and Heath Roca, and they are in a very like toxic, codependent relationship with each other. But not just that, they are Olympic ice skaters competing in ice dance. And so we're watching their relationship with each other from when they were like young kids in poverty, no money, getting into skating, getting into ice dance together, competing at the Olympics together. But something happens, their relationship falls apart. This big thing happens that I'm not going to say at the Olympics. Our book really is taking place 10 years later, where I don't remember if it's like an editorial or a documentary or something is coming to light where people are reflecting back on this couple and like their time in the Olympics and stuff. And so we're going back and forth between their relationship and how they kind of got their start and got their fame, as well as in present day interviewing people. It kind of gives Carrie Soto is Back meets Daisy Jones and the Six, like sort of the intersection between those 2 books. Strong female main character, interview style, then and now, but at the Olympics. And it's so good. And the reason that I love this book particularly is my favorite books have complicated characters, messy plots, confused, like morally gray characters and plot lines. Like, these people make bad choices, but we understand why, and that's my favorite. Like, we got to know Heath and Katerina so well that their codependence made sense to me. I don't know why I love a codependent relationship, not in real life, but reading about them, it just fascinates me. I absolutely loved this book. I feel like if I could create an Olivia starter pack of books of like my favorite genre, it's just like messy, complicated books, like The Favorites and The Conditions of Will and Daisy Hates, and what else is like that? Like, I just love books that are messy, and this is that. And so I absolutely loved this one. Apologies for the jump scare, you guys. I'm editing this video right now and I realized that I only talked about 9 books. I literally skipped book number 8 on my list. And so I just want to tell you guys about this book, one of my favorite books of the year so far. And that book is Dungeon Crawler Carl. I loved reading this book so much. You guys have probably maybe heard me talk about this book before, but in this sci-fi fantasy story, we're following our main character Carl. He lives in Seattle, and one night his cat, or like his girlfriend's cat, gets out, and so he goes outside to get the cat, but then everything, literally in like a blink of an eye, every single building and structure on Earth gets sucked inside the planet. And he's like, oh my God, what just happened? Any person who is inside like a building basically instantly died, and anyone that was outside survived. And so he comes to find that the Earth has been like, I don't want to say overtaken by aliens, but basically his life and his whole goal is to survive for the entertainment of these aliens who have essentially like overrun Earth. And so he enters into what's called the dungeons, which are inside the Earth. There's like many different levels, like you move deeper and deeper into the Earth, I guess, and each like layer is a dungeon. The goal isn't just to live, it's to live and also be entertaining for aliens, because the more entertaining that you are, the more screen time that you get, and then the more likely that aliens in the galaxy will sponsor you and send you gifts. And it's just the most odd and the most bizarre story that I have read, maybe ever, but it was so fun and so different from anything that I have ever read. And throughout the whole story, he is on this adventure with Donut, Princess Donut, his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend's cat. And it's really funny. And I will just say that Princess Donut is one of my favorite characters that I have read about in a book to date. Absolutely love her. She is so fun. And yeah, this is just such a fun, like silly story. I really liked it, and I definitely want to continue the series this year. But yeah, sorry again for the jump scare. I loved that book, and I was like, why do I only have 9 books in here? What did I miss? Checked the document. I forgot to talk about Dungeon Crawler Carl. Can't believe I did that. So enjoy the last 2 books in this video. Apologies for this. And yeah, I'll see you guys in literally like a second. Final 2 books, guys. This is crazy. Book number 9 is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. This is Abby Jimenez's newest release in 2026. I'm a huge Abby fan. You all already know that I am obsessed with her. I'm obsessed with her books. I've been working my way through her backlist because I'm just that obsessed with her. And so when I heard that she was coming out with a book this year, that the main trope was boyfriend's best friend, I was like, this is the end. This is where my Abby Jimenez streak goes to die. Like, I am probably not going to like this book because that's maybe my least favorite trope ever. Like that, I hate it. I was just convinced that I wasn't going to like this book, but it turns out that I loved it. I loved it, and I should have put more faith in Abby. I really should have. This is definitely a controversial one. I've seen a lot of mixed opinions for this book, but for anyone who is not a fan of like cheating and boyfriends, but like I hate that stuff too. So I wouldn't just look past this book. I wouldn't just assume you're going to hate it. I would give it a fair shot, give it a trial run. But in this book, we have 2 main characters, Larissa and Chris. And at the beginning of the book, Larissa meets both Chris and Chris's best friend, Mike, but ends up getting into a relationship with Mike. But due to some difficulties that Mike is having throughout the story, I'm not going to say what those are, Larissa and Chris are sort of thrust into different situations together all of the time. They start to develop these very like complicated and very messy feelings towards each other, even though Larissa is in a relationship with Mike. And again, it sounds really bad, and there's not really a clean way to do it or to explain it. It literally makes me sound like a bad person, but I promise you, the way that Abby Jimenez wrote this book made me feel like it was so realistic. Like I felt like the things that were happening in Larissa and Mike's relationship, and separately the friendship that Larissa and Chris had, like those things do happen in real life. I think these characters handled it way better than most people do in real life, transparently. The characters were so well developed, and you knew exactly who they were and the like inner challenges that they were going through and the impossibility of the situation. I just thought it was handled so incredibly well. Like I am blown away by Abby Jimenez's ability to handle this trope and just the way that this book was put together. I loved it. And on top of that, there were just things in this book, specifically specifically with Larissa's character, that I felt like Abby Jimenez just like opened up my mind and took things out and put it in there. Like, I am Larissa. She even looks like me on the cover of this book, you guys. Like, that is literally me, okay? I will hear nothing else. She's such a hard worker, and throughout this whole book, she's trying to make ends meet. She has such like an entrepreneurial mind. Very difficult things that Larissa has gone through, I have also experienced. And so reading it in this book, I just felt so seen and so validated because I understand how difficult it is to navigate some of the things that she's going through. And this was just like saw a window into my soul, and I loved it so much. Felt very realistic because these characters were going through some things that I've experienced, not the boyfriend's best friend thing. I would never do that. Okay. But like just other plot points. I really connected with them on a deeper level. That's all I'll say about this. I loved this. And finally, we have one final book to cover, my 10th book in this video. And that book is Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. This is another one that I can't seem to shut up about. Y'all know I've had a lot of like 5-star reads, 4.5-star reads lately. And so it just so happens that at this like midway through the year check-in point, I've like very recently had a lot of 5 stars, you know? So you're seeing a couple of these repeatedly if you've been keeping up with my videos. And for that, I'm sorry, but also I'm not sorry because these are all great books and I need to talk to somebody about them. And those people are you guys, so I'm just gonna be a broken record for a second. This book is so good. Oh, this perfect. I was like, what other books are like messy and don't fit into one genre that are like my literal favorite books? This Broken Country, Conditions of Will. I already forget the other ones that I was talking about. The Favorites. Like I feel like they all of these books that do like genre bending things that kind of pull elements from different genres that I feel like kind of break these literary conventions that we've been sticking to for a really long time. I love that. If you know of any books like those that are like this is fiction, but it's not, you know, The Favorites is romance, but it's not. Like if you know books like that, please let me know because I want to read all of them. So this is a fiction story following our main character, Beth, and she is a farmer. She's married to Frank. They own a farm and they have a really sweet life. You know, things are going well for them, but unfortunately, several years prior, they lost their son in a very tragic accident. And so their marriage, I would say, has been struggling due to the loss of their son and just like everything that they've been through since then. And so at the start of our story, Beth's old lover, Gabriel, comes back to town. For her and Frank and the health and wellness of their relationship, it's really good if Beth doesn't get tied up in Gabriel and like him coming back to town. But the issue for her is he has a son who reminds her a lot of her son that she lost many years prior. And so inevitably she does kind of get caught up in things. But this is a romance, it's a fiction story, but it's also a mystery because the opening line in the blurb literally says, "The farmer is dead, and nobody knows who killed him," or something like that. Yeah, something literally like a farmer dies. You don't know who the farmer is or how they die or why they die, but we know that somebody died. And so there's actually several timelines going on where we're going back in time to where Beth and Gabriel are falling in love as kids. We have a future timeline where there's a trial going on because somebody died and we're trying to like figure out who's guilty and who's going to jail. But then there's also this like current timeline where Beth, Frank, and Gabriel are like having all of these messy things happen. And I loved this book. It was so good. Again, the perfect intersection of genres that I just absolutely love. The plot twists also literally got me so hard. I've been talking to some of you guys in the comment section of my videos recently talking about this book. Some of y'all are smarter than me because both, I would say there's quite a few like smaller little twists, but there's 2, I would say, larger twists. Maybe not full on like plot twists, but like twists, you know? I didn't predict either of them. Like I got slapped and then I was like, okay, that was the twist. Like we're good. I calmed down and then I got freaking slapped again because I just had no idea. Like I just didn't know this was going to be that kind of book, you know? And so I just got kind of whiplash from all of the twists, but they were so good and they made perfect sense and they were integrated so incredibly well. And I loved this book. I hope that you guys, I'm like, oh, go exit out this video and go buy this book. But I'm like, honestly, guys, go buy literally all of these books. Look at this stack of gorgeousness right now. Okay. I'm literally holding my children right now. Like, oh, you can't even see them. I'm holding my children and this is why I make book videos and this is why I read books. Like it's just these videos are my absolute favorite thing. If you guys made it all the way to this point in the video, comment down below the trophy emoji for, just to like represent all of my favorite books, so I know who made it all the way here. And of course, if you guys are interested in joining the Cozy Reader Club, where I send you guys a signed letter, a newspaper about books coming out, books that are on my radar, a word game, a bookmark, all of that fun cozy stuff, I'm gonna link that in my description box down below. I would absolutely love to have you next month. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys are interested in seeing more bookish content from me in the future. And I think that's it. So I hope you guys are having the best day and the best reading month, and I will see you on Saturday for my next bookish upload. Bye!